All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to need our trench coats and magnifying glasses because we are cracking the case of multi-cloud logging. And to solve this one, you really have to start thinking like a data detective.
So picture this. An app fails. But it's not just in one place. It's failing across AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. Where do you even start looking for clues? I mean, this is the mystery that engineers are facing every single day. It's like a digital crime scene, but your evidence is scattered across 3 different jurisdictions. It's a complete logistical nightmare.
Okay, so to solve a case this big, you absolutely need a plan. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to look at the challenge, follow a log's journey from end to end, pick our toolkit, check out some blueprints for setting things up, and finally, talk about how to avoid the common traps that trip everyone up.
All right, let's get right into it. The multi-cloud logging challenge, or as I like to call it, the case of the scattered evidence. So why is finding the root cause of what seems like a simple error so incredibly frustrating in a multi-cloud world? Well, it really does come down to your evidence being all over the map.
So here's the modern crime scene, right? Your apps are spread across AWS, Azure, and GCP. And the big problem is that each cloud provider is like its own police precinct with its own set of rules. The log formats are totally inconsistent, the data is fragmented so there's no single source of truth. Finding that one culprit log feels like searching for a needle in 3 different haystacks. And on top of all that, you've got these unpredictable egress costs, which are just fees for moving your evidence around. It all adds up to a slow, chaotic, and frankly, really expensive investigation every single time something goes wrong.
So how do we stop running in circles? We need a process. We need to follow the clues from the source all the way to the solution. And to do that, we have to understand the end-to-end journey of our evidence, a single log file.
This journey, this logging pipeline, really has 5 key stages: generation, collection, transport, storage, and finally, consumption, which is where your engineers actually look at the logs. Now, while every stage here is important, we're going to zero in on that first one, generation. Why? Because if your evidence is bad from the get-go, the rest of your investigation is pretty much doomed. Seriously, the quality of your entire investigation lives or dies right here. At step 1, you've got to lay down some rules of evidence. First, use structured logging, like JSON. It makes your clues machine-readable, super important. Second, and this is maybe the most crucial part, include correlation IDs. Think of this as the unique case number that links every single piece of related evidence. It's the magic thread that ties everything together. Also, control your log levels to filter out the noise, and for goodness sake, avoid logging sensitive data. Keep private info out of the evidence locker.
Okay, so you've got high-quality evidence. Now you need the right tools to analyze it. Let's talk about choosing your logging toolkit. Are you going with the cloud-native investigators or bringing in third-party specialists? This is a really critical choice you've got to make.
So this is the big question. On one hand, you've got the cloud-native tools. They're tightly integrated. They're usually easier to set up initially. But they can lead to those fragmented views we talked about, and you have to watch out for those high egress costs. On the other hand, you have third-party tools. These give you that holy grail, a single pane of glass across all your clouds, consistent queries, consistent schemas, but it adds another vendor to manage, another cost, and you have more control over data retention. Look, there's no one-size-fits-all answer here. It's all about the trade-offs that make sense for your team and your budget.
All right, so we've thought about our tools. Now, let's look at a few common blueprints for actually setting up your central forensics lab. These are the investigative strategies the teams are using out in the wild.
First up, Blueprint 1 per cloud collection with centralized analytics. This is your classic hub and spoke model. Just think of it like this. Each cloud is its own local precinct, collecting evidence on its own turf. Then, it sends the process clues over to a central headquarters where the real analysis happens.
So how does this actually work? Well, logs are collected inside each cloud. Think AWS CloudWatch, for example. The data gets buffered and processed right there, locally. Then, specialized forwarders send those nice, standardized logs to your central platform. The pros? You're using native tools you already know, and you're cutting down on that expensive cross-cloud traffic. The con, though, is that you're still managing multiple collection points, which can be a bit of a headache.
Okay, on to Blueprint 2, fully centralized ingestion. This one's way more direct. It basically says, forget the local precincts. All evidence from every single source gets sent immediately and directly to one central collector.
So with this approach, all your applications, no matter which cloud they're in, send logs straight to that central collector. You completely skip storing logs in each local cloud. It's just one single pipeline for everything.
The pro here is obvious. It's a much simpler architecture, and you get consistent formatting right away. The cons? Well, you can rack up those data transfer costs pretty quickly, and you're creating a single point of failure. If that collector goes down, you're flying blind. This is a great choice if simplicity is your absolute #1 priority.
Okay, so we've got a plan. We've got our blueprints. But you know what? Even the best detectives make mistakes. So, let's talk about avoiding the common traps, the little things that can completely derail an investigation and turn a hot case cold.
And this right here, this is why all this stuff matters. This is the aha moment. A good logging setup isn't just theory. It's what turns a frantic, multi-hour crisis into a calm, minutes-long investigation. Just look at this timeline. 10:01 p.m., a user reports a payment failure. Oh no. But by 10:02, the engineer is already querying the central platform. By 10:04, that magic correlation ID has linked a log from a web server in AWS to a database over in GCP. And just 3 minutes later, at 10:07, there it is, the smoking gun. A database connection error. Case solved in 6 minutes. That is the payoff we're talking about.
You know, there's a saying, unstructured logs are clues that can't be read. And that's really the heart of it. Without that structure and context, your data isn't evidence, it's just noise. Your detectives have clues they literally can't analyze.
So let's nail down these top pitfalls to avoid. #1, and I can't say this enough, missing correlation IDs. It is the single biggest reason cases go cold. #2, excessive log volume. Don't drown your team in useless clues. It's about signal, not noise. 3, inconsistent retention policies. This is like letting your evidence disappear before you even need it. And finally, the biggest one, treating logging as an afterthought. You can't build your forensics lab after the crime has happened. It has to be part of the plan from day one.
So when all is said and done, it really comes down to this final question you have to ask yourself. Is your data telling a clear story, or is it just making a lot of noise? Have you empowered your teams to be effective data detectives, or have you left them lost in a multi-cloud fog with no clear path forward? Because ultimately, getting this right isn't just about solving problems faster. It's about whether you can solve them at all.